Listen up, Midwest. We're doing some live shows.
Yes, we are.
Oh, we're so excited. We're kicking off the fall tour with something a little different. On Wednesday, November 5th at Ice House in Minneapolis, we are hosting The Craft Night, an interactive watch-along. We'll be screening the acclaimed 1996 film The Craft while enjoying craft cocktails and beaded crafts. I'm finally going to teach you how to make beaded lizards. Hosted by us, the gals. I'm so excited about this. It's going to be so fun. It's a little departure from our usual live shows, but it's going to be an absolute blast. And this is a small show, so you're not going to want to sleep on this. We have limited seating in general, but we have limited VIP tickets that also get you upfront seating, a signed poster, and access to our little post-show Q&A moment.
Love the Q&As. And then the next day, on Thursday, November 6th, we're heading down 35 to Kansas City, Missouri, to join our partners in crime, the guys from the Generation Y podcast, Justin and Aaron, for a live show at Screenland Armor. And those guys don't usually get to do comedy.
No.
They're so excited to laugh along with us. And all of you, I promise you they're actually funny.
They're so fun. You're going to love them so much.
You'll see them in a new light.
You really will.
Limited VIP tickets are available and include upfront seating, a signed poster, and access to our post-show mixer at the bar with Justin and Aaron from Gen Y.
Yeah, that location is super cool. It has this really fun little attached bar. I think they've got like pinball machines and all this cool stuff. I'm super excited for that show. You'll definitely want to get VIP so that you can hang with us afterward. But wait, there's more, because on Friday, November 8th, we're headed to Des Moines, Iowa, and we're going to be at the Chandelier in Highland Park for, you guessed it, another live show. VIP for this show includes upfront seating, a signed poster, and exclusive access to a post-show after party just around the corner at The Fitz, Lucy and Corey's very own bar, named in her honor.
Hell yeah, it's going to be so fun.
I'm so excited.
We're going to stay up late and play loud music. And there is one more thing.
It doesn't end here, folks.
Nope. On Sunday, November 9th, we're hosting the Meat Raffle, a boozy brunch hosted by us gals at the Alpine Tap, another Fitzwendell establishment, where we're going to be slinging drinks. We're going to be behind the bar. Pray for us.
I know.
We're also going to be selling raffle tickets for some super fun prizes, including some items from my own curiosity cabinet.
Yes!
I'm not that excited to part with them, but they're
you're
gonna be good.
I'll see if I can scrounge up some meat for this meat raffle.
Oh, we're gonna have meat.
Yes!
We'll get to the meat. We're also going to be hosting a pop-up market for local makers, so you just get a little taste of Des Moines while you're here.
I'm so excited. It's so cute.
Your ticket for this brunch includes a cocktail and a breakfast burrito from Lachelle's Fine Foods next door.
Ever heard of it? In-person tickets for all of these events are on sale now, and I'm telling you right now, they're going to be going fast. These are smaller venues. We wanted to have an intimate experience with all of you, so seating is limited. Don't miss your chance to come see us. Grab your tickets at wineandcrimepodcast.com.
And if you can't make it in person, maybe you don't live in the Midwest, I feel sorry for you, but we will be live streaming our shows from Kansas City and Des Moines. So grab your live stream tickets at wineandcrimepodcast.com. And if you're a member of Uncorked, you get $5 off your ticket.
Yeah, we're going to send you a little discount code that's just for you. So if you want to get a little discount, join Uncorked today.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see you in either Minneapolis, Des Moines, or Kansas City.
Let's do it!
Yes.
Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where two friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
You betcha, you're darn tootin'.
Sure do. I'm actually drinking wine today, wouldn't you know it?
Good for you.
It's been a minute.
I had a toke before this.
Well, yeah.
So I'm drinking water personally, but I am not sober.
Water.
No, I'm drinking flat today.
Oh, I have never known you to drink flat water.
That is untrue. I actually prefer flat water, but I have
Really?
so much. Yep, I have so much sparkling in our house because Bill is addicted to it. God bless him.
Maybe it's Bill I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm getting you and Bill mixed up.
That
for
makes
apparent
sense.
reasons.
We are the same fused being post marriage.
I also have a plate of little cheese cubes and crackers because I went to my fancy grocery store this morning to say hi to my friend who works there. And I had a cheese sample and I was like, I'll take 19 of those.
I have some spicy honey roasted peanuts.
Oh, I love that we're just announcing our snacks instead of what we're drinking now.
Correct. They're from Costco.
Yum.
Bill made a run
Costco.
today. They're quite delicious. But yeah, that's not the pairing for the episode, but that is what we're fucking with today.
Well, let's just continue on to that. We have a very special fan pick today from Marlena. And Marlena wants to dedicate this episode, quote, to my life partner, Lakin, who is my biggest fan, and to my parents, Ramona and David, who are our biggest supporters.
Aww.
Love it. Love it.
A lot of cute, like, parental dedications in the fan pics recently.
We have had a lot of sweet parent mentions.
Really
recently.
sweet. It just warms the cackles of my heart, you know?
Yeah.
I love it.
Not everyone would thank their parents.
No. No, they wouldn't.
It's
You're
just
lucky.
extra good.
Consider yourself lucky.
It's just extra good when you have the tangible support of your parents.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. You can't
Thank
say that
you.
because your dad's dead.
My dad died long before this podcast was made. So he never supported me a day in my life. No, I can't even
That's
finish
not
saying that.
true.
That's
Your
such
dad-
a joke. He
Your
was
dad
so supportive.
Was the sweetest man
I know.
ever to have existed.
I know. I couldn't even joke about it. It just was
No.
too wrong.
Couldn't keep a straight face.
God. Thanks, parents, though. We love you.
Yeah.
Suzanne, Mike, Sean, Melinda.
My parents this last weekend hosted my sister's wedding
Oh, God, it was gorgeous.
ceremony and reception at their house, which I think is unbelievably generous.
It is.
I
It
would
is. It's a lot.
Never, Madeline, if you're listening, I would never.
Do that for you.
It
So
was
mean.
stunning. No, Madeline and her husband did a whole lot of work. My parents did a whole lot of work. It turned Amanda did a whole lot of work. She officiated.
Oh, it was so good.
Frankly, I did a whole lot of work.
You
but,
did.
you know, it does take a village.
Corey did all the food with his crew. It was really such a special weekend and like such a celebration of family and friend community, even down to like the food and who all chipped in to make the wedding happen. It was really, really, really cool.
And my sister's a food stylist, so like she invited some friends from work and they were just like over the table, like asking questions. What is this? Where did this come from? It's so beautiful. Can I move this? Blah, 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 blah. And like taking pictures. It was gorgeous. And then I think, well, after the wedding, we did 2 highs and a low with my parents. And he didn't say it, but I'm positive that my dad's ultimate high, possibly more than walking my sister down the aisle, was being able to get out his skid loader and help the porta potty guy back the porta potty trailer into my neighbor's driveway because the angle is such that the porta potty guy couldn't do it with his truck. So my dad was like, "Hang on, I got a bobcat."
Your dad got to whip out the bobcat on wedding night or next day.
And then the day before the wedding. And the porta potty guy and my dad were best fucking friends after that.
They're in love now.
I think they exchanged numbers.
Oh my God. Oh, I love that. I love
so it
that.
it was a beautiful weekend, start to finish. Anyway, Marlena, our very special fan picker, has chosen the topic. Speaking of weddings, of ankle monitor madness.
Speaking of weddings.
Like a ball and chain. That's where I was going.
Oh, God.
Did that not land? That didn't go?
Hold on. I have something for that joke.
Oh. It takes you so long.
Because I wasn't ready.
It takes you so long to find the sound effects. It's a pan joke every time.
Every time. The list of them is way too long. And then you have to make sure you toggle on live and not preview. Because if you just press play on it, it's in preview mode. And then no one can hear it except you.
Oh, is that why half the time you just say, God damn it?
Yep.
And then it plays?
It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay.
It's a sign that we shouldn't be using it.
No.
No, that's not it. That's not it.
Absolutely not.
That's not what we're saying. Okay, ankle monitor madness. This is a topic that, once again, I'm surprised we haven't even really touched on.
I know.
Before. And at the same time, I was doing my notes and I was like, I could go in 650 different directions.
Yep. It's a lot.
It's a lot. So why don't we get started with our wine pairing for ankle monitors, Amanda?
Okay, well, I wanted to feature something from Montinore Estate. Get it? Monitor? Montinore.
It took me a couple beats, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, do you need this? Montinore? Did you get my joke? Did you? Montinore Estate.
Montinore. Got it.
And you say we shouldn't use the sound effects once every 500 episodes. I always forget their thing. Anyway.
There's got to be a way to pin your favorites at the top.
Probably.
You think I'm going to take the time to figure that out?
John, figure it out.
John, if you're listening, figure this out and then
prove
text
it by
us.
figuring this out. Prove that you're listening. Prove that you're doing your job. Or you're fired. Just kidding. We love you. You're not fired. You're never fired.
Send us a picture of your lips. We need to know if they're thin or not.
Yeah, we haven't gotten those lip pics we requested while we were recording ads the other day, by the way.
We solicited lip pics.
We couldn't remember if John had fuller lips or thinner lips.
No, they're thin. I vote thin.
Lucy votes thin.
I'm only just remembering him.
I vote fuller. And I was like, I'll text him. And Lucy was like, no, just tell John, if you're listening right now, we're in a recording that he has to edit.
He's probably listening to it right now.
If you're listening, send us a picture of your lips. And we have not gotten a picture yet. And no, we don't have an HR department, okay?
I was going to say, as his employers, we shouldn't be demanding he send us a picture of his lips.
John, if I don't get a picture of your lips by 5 p.m., you're fucking fired.
Central.
Yeah, you got 45 minutes, buddy.
We all live in the same time zone. There's no confusion.
Nope, and there's a lot riding on this. Don't make me find another editor.
Your health insurance. Anyway, Monitor Wines.
Montinore. It's out of Oregon. And they have an absolutely gorgeous 2018 Reserve Riesling that retails for $35. The quality, like the fanciness of these wines is exemplary. And the price, while it's like a little higher than we usually pair, it's still right in that sweet spot of like, oh, I could spend $35 on a bottle of wine and either have it be a phenomenal gift or maybe you get it for yourself for a special occasion. And they have so much. They have rosés, they have reds, they have this really good looking one. It's like a dessert wine. That's I think it's a blend. It's like a 50% Muscat and then a 50% like orange wine. It's called like l'orange. It looks stunning. I would want to like have a glass of that with like a very decadent chocolate cake with like an orange glaze drizzle over the cake.
You know what I was
and
going to
like
say?
zested orange peel.
I'll give you one guess.
One of those chocolate oranges that you bang on the counter and then it opens up.
Cheesecake.
Oh, that'd be good.
You know, I fucking love cheesecake with like a orange marmalade glaze on top.
Bitch. Yes.
Bitch.
Yes.
Bitch.
Yes. Oh, but that's not the pairing, but that could easily be the pairing. But they have a lot of really beautiful wines on their website, which is monitore.com, Monitore.
It's monitor with an E.
Montinore.com. But the 2018 Reserve Riesling just looks really beautiful. And I know it's fall and this seems like a little bit of a warmer weather wine, but I love a Riesling all year. And I feel like people sleep on it because they automatically think that it's too sweet, but it really isn't when you're just getting like a really nice Riesling.
That really was my reaction when you mentioned that, but then you said it was like mixed with an orange.
Mm-hmm. This one's
unexpected.
This one's not mixed with orange. That's the Muscat that's mixed with orange. This Riesling is a little bit more on the acidic side. It's probably got a tiny bit of sweetness to it, like a nice sweet balance, but it's going to drink a little bit drier. It's going to drink a little more even like a Pinot Grigio.
So it's not going to be like syrupy sweet.
Correct. Okay. Correct.
That's what I would personally like to avoid.
Agreed. And if you're getting like a really nice, high quality, like 100% Riesling, you shouldn't be getting a sugar bomb. You really shouldn't. She's 12.7% ABV. She is, like I said, a 2018 vintage out of Willamette Valley in Oregon. You know that viticultural area it has everything. And the wines, like the grapes that grow there, are so beautiful and have a lot of room to actually like ripen and really get the most out of those. So just another reason to care about climate change, because regions like this are going to be harmed under all of the current administration's policies. Anyway, Riesling is delicious in every expression from their website, from dry to sweet and spots in between. But we love to craft our reserve bottling in a dry style. So like I said, it's not going to be a sugar bomb. The 2018 vintage delivers perfumed aromas of citrus, white flowers, pineapple, green pear, and rosewater. The bright, crisp palate is brimming with green apple, gooseberry, and lime zest. Riesling's signature acidity offers a mouth-watering finish. Yeah, it sounds fucking gorgeous. It's a popper, so you would need a wine key for it, but get this for yourself as a little fall gift. Cozy up with it, pour a glass, and enjoy from Montinore.
Pour a glass.
Pour yourself a glass.
I am actually drinking one of the rosés that came in my box from Unpinned.
Oh my God. Y'all, we are working on a collaboration with our bestie, Ashwin, Wine Daddy, to have regular featured pairings from Unpinned on the episode. So I'm super excited to start getting those scheduled so that you can get access to some of these really cool wines that we are also drinking. Lucy, which one is that? A rosé?
It's some sort of rosé, something or other, but I can't tell you for sure because the whole ethos behind Unpinned is that they're showing you varietals that you are not familiar with, because turns out there's like 10,000 types of grapes, and we're only used to hearing about like maybe 8 to 10. Yeah, so this wine club I think is so fucking cool because it just introduces you to all sorts of wines from all over the globe. Yesterday I learned about Georgian wines because wine was like invented in like the Fertile Crescent, but like very close to Georgia, like the country of Georgia. So yeah, I really like to learn more about just history and shit, and also drink wine. And
it scratches like every nerd special interest itch that you have.
And also it makes you sound really fucking smart about different kinds of wines, because if you just whip out a varietal that no one's ever heard of, they're like, what's that? You're so smart.
And you're like, by participating in this, you're not only helping preserve like generational viticultural areas and like wineries that have been small wineries that have been family owned all over the world forever, but like you're helping like keep those grape varietals from like going extinct, because we've lost a lot of grape varietals because they've obviously fallen out of fashion. They're not really being produced that much. And now, climate change is a huge problem. But like these are varietals that you've never heard of and that you probably won't ever hear of unless you participate in something cool like this Unpinned Wine Club. And then you can support those.
It's sort of
vineyards.
a conservation effort in itself, which I love.
It's super cool.
But yeah, Unpinned Wine, we've got our friend Ashwin Mathia, who's going to be joining us in future episodes. But yeah, this particular plug was not even planned at this point. But
Lucy just happens to be drinking it. We're getting
just happen to be drinking it, and I happen to authentically love it. And yeah, there we go. You'll hear a lot more from Ashwin in upcoming episodes.
Hell yeah, we love him. All right, so let's take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors, unless, of course, you are a member of Wine and Crime Uncorked, which if you are, thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much.
Your support means the world to us. And if you're not,
shame.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, get it together. Come join us.
Girl, ad-free eps, bonus content, ad-free video
Ad-free
eps,
video.
early access to live show tickets, live stream discounts.
Yeah, currently our live stream tickets for our upcoming shows are $5 off if you're a member of Uncorked. So like, you're saving money.
You're literally saving money. So please come hang out with us over on Uncorked. You can join at wineandcrimepodcast.com. All right, we'll be right back.
Okay. We try to do the right things for our bodies. We try to exercise regularly. We try to drink the green smoothies, eat the kale salads. But the truth is, no matter how many steps you take, it is very difficult to get all of the essential nutrients that we need every single day. And that is where Ritual comes in. This is the obsessively researched multivitamin. It's really everything you need. Ritual's essential multis have the ingredients most of us don't get enough of from just our food and our diet, all in their clean, absorbable forms. There's no shady additives or ingredients that can do more harm than good to your body.
Yeah, and y'all know we're both ladies who are constantly struggling with our gut health.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I have incorporated the Symbiotic and gut health to my just evening wind down. I take it before bed. It has honestly already helped with so much of like my morning gut rot.
Yeah.
I just wake up feeling better. I don't really know how to describe it.
Less
but
rotten.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's really nice. They also have the Essential for Women 18 Plus Multi that contains 9 key nutrients in 2 delayed release capsules designed for optimal absorption per day. So these are designed to be gentle on the stomach. They have a minty essence in every bottle that helps taking your multis actually enjoyable, especially if you have like tummy upset on the regular. It's nice to have a multivitamin that's like not going to exacerbate tummy upset in that way. Ritual even conducted a university-led clinical trial for their Essential for Women 18 Plus multivitamin to assess its efficacy. And I'm telling you, let's hear the results. It increased vitamin D levels by 43% and omega-3 DHA levels by 41% in just 12 weeks. I love those results.
Instead of striving for perfect health, aim for supporting foundational health. Get 25% off your first month only at ritual.com/gals. Start Ritual or add Essential for Women 18 Plus to your subscription today. That's ritual.com/gals for 25% off.
The cooler days have arrived, y'all, and they call for layers that last. Quince is truly our go-to for quality essentials that feel cozy, they look refined, and honestly, best part, they're not going to blow your budget.
Yeah, I am slowly recovering from years of buying like pretty cheap winter like sweaters and stuff. Trying to get back on the quality train, and Quince is my go-to. They've got things like $50 Mongolian cashmere, premium denim that fits like a dream, and luxe outerwear that you are going to wear year after year. These are pieces that'll turn into your fall uniform, and they're like pieces. It's not just like a sweater. It's like, oh, my Quince sweater. That's what I love. So we're eyeing their wool coats. These look designer level, but they cost a fraction of the price. The quality is truly just as good, if not better. I recently upgraded to a king-size bed, so I had to get some new bedding. Went with their European linen, the quilt.
Gorgeous.
Oh my God. And they're so within a price range that you can have like a few different sets to change out just to freshen it up, which is really not many places can say for a king-size set.
No, seriously.
And because Quince partners directly with top-tier ethical factories and cuts out the middleman, that's how they are able to deliver luxury quality pieces at half the cost of similar brands. This is the kind of wardrobe upgrade that feels smart, stylish, and effortless.
Yeah, timeless. You don't have to do the fast fashion thing. It's the best. So find your fall staples at Quince. Go to quince.com/wine for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/wine to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/wine. All right, we're back with Lucy's favorite gross fact, and that is traditional bed sheets can hold more bacteria than a toilet seat.
Yum.
No. That is not what you want to be laying your face on. And Miracle Made bedding is designed to fight bacteria and stay cleaner longer with silver-infused fabrics that actually prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth.
You'd think it was magic because it sounds so great, but really it's just science. Because
It's science, baby.
Miracle Made sheets are crafted with NASA-inspired silver-infused fabrics that not only keep your sheets cleaner for longer thanks to their antibacterial silver technology, but they also regulate your body temperature.
This is my favorite part, honestly.
So if you're a hot sleeper or a cold sleeper, it really does not matter. These sheets help keep you in the comfort zone all night long. Perhaps my favorite part about these sheets, though, is because it means less laundry for you.
Yeah.
They stay cleaner and fresher up to 3 times longer than regular sheets. So there's fewer odors, fewer laundry cycles, and just less just crinkled up sheets on your bedroom floor for weeks at a time. Honestly, peek into my life. If you want to alleviate that specific problem, Miracle Made is
She's your
just
girl.
for you.
Yeah.
And they also feel as good, if not better, than sheets you'd find at a 5-star hotel, but without that steep price tag. They are smooth, they are breathable, they are ridiculously comfortable. And yeah, you're not going to want to lay your face on your regular sheets after you hear that. So don't clog your pores, don't cause breakouts. Miracle Made's antibacterial design helps you sleep cleaner and clearer night after night.
So upgrade your sleep or give the gift of better rest. Go to trymiracle.com/gals to try Miracle Made sheets today. You'll save over 40%. And when you use promo code GALS, you get an extra 20% off plus a 3-piece towel set. They make an amazing gift. And with a 30-day money-back guarantee, there's no risk. That's trymiracle.com/gals, code GALS at checkout. And thanks to Miracle Made for sponsoring this episode. Welcome back to Wine and Crime.
Yes, that's us.
Lucy, what do you have in store for us for ankle monitor madness?
Like I said, there's like a lot to cover and there is a lot to talk about, like ethics-wise. So we'll see. I'm sure that you and I will get into it, but that's not...
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, it's a polarizing concept.
It is a very polarizing concept.
There are, benefits and drawbacks and discrepancies as there are with any state procedure.
Say any topic having to do with law enforcement is very weighted, and we will get to it and we will have the conversations. So ankle monitors, also known as electronic tagging or tags, ankle bracelets, or some more, I would say, progressive like advocacy groups will refer to them as ankle shackles or some sort of like shackle. Because really, I mean, I think it goes without saying that Black people are actually twice as likely to get saddled with an ankle monitor, shackled too. And obviously that is very reminiscent of our racist past here in the United States. So why stop now? But these are an electric device affixed to a person to monitor their location or physiological state. We'll get to that. That's the part that I think is actually kind of cool.
Okay. It can like monitor your heart rate and stuff?
No, I mean, that's just an Apple Watch. It monitors if you've been drinking.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, really curious how they fucking have the technology to do that. So I can't wait to get to that.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
So ankle monitors are basically asset tracking, but for a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And as we will get to, the concept was sort of originally, well, we'll get to it. There were it was kind of like two different eggs that sort of came together to birth the ankle monitor.
Mm-hmm.
But an ankle monitor is typically used for a person as part of their bail or probation conditions, but they can also be used in healthcare or immigration contexts.
Oh, Jesus. Ugh.
I know.
Which, by the way, speaking of immigration context,
baby, we'll get to it all. We will, but say it.
Not what I'm about to say, I promise
Okay.
you. I was on our subreddit, the Wine and Crime subreddit, and somebody had posted that they got a fucking targeted ad for ICE recruitment. And I just wanted to, I know we've mentioned this before. I also was in the comments immediately, like, explaining what the fuck is going on here. But I just think it's pertinent to, like, repeat this every once in a while. So we do sell ads on our show. Some that we read, some that we approve through our ad partner to be automatically inserted into our episodes. We have full control over those ads. So we can
the ones that we read aloud.
That we read aloud, and some of the automatic ones that we are in approved categories that we vet before they are put into our catalog. But third parties that are just like on Apple, Spotify, other podcast players,
everywhere,
those companies can sell ads on our content. We never see a dime for them, and they are always like controversial 9 times out of 10, but they're like geo-targeted. So and like targeted to your algorithms. So I don't know what the fuck. We did not approve an ad for recruiting ICE agents. Fuck ICE. We would never fucking do that.
A pro-gun group or a pro-life group or anything like religiously affiliated.
Honestly, we toggle off politics and religion just because if you toggle it on, we can't decide whether it's like a Republican ad or a Democratic ad. We can't decide that by toggling on that category. So we don't even approve ads like that ever. So I just wanted to clarify that like, fuck those platforms for A, monetizing creators' content for themselves without consent or compensation to the content creator that they're monetizing, and B, not giving us any option to go, no, we do not fucking want that shit popping up during our show. And it makes us so fucking mad every time. And you can file complaints about that kind of stuff through the support team at Apple, Spotify, wherever you're hearing it. I have filed complaints about it. I don't know what else to do at this point, but I just wanted to flag that that's a thing that's happening. If you hear an ad that's really sus, by all means, let us know about it. But 9 times out of 10, it's not one of our ads and we're not getting any money from it at all.
Yeah. And for sure, just rule of thumb, I guess, if we're not voicing the ads ourselves, we do not condone them necessarily.
Mm-hmm. But it is good to know in case it's one of our approved categories, but that ICE shit is not in our approved categories
and that's
at all.
Really fucking disturbing.
It's fucked up. It's fucked up.
The world we're in today is not great.
No.
I mean, there's
no.
It's not cool. It's not normal.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully our country can withstand this. I have every hope in the world that it will. But yeah, the media literacy is a very big issue, and we just want to be very transparent about the things that we do. We promote the brands that we take money from, and if you have issues
concerns, we're happy to discuss it. Yeah, definitely send that along.
But if you're hearing promotions for ICE
it's not
on our
us.
show, dude. Trust, it's not.
We don't want the fucking ICE fascism money. We don't want it. And we're not getting it. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say because that reminded me of that.
Well, we'll kind of get to ICE's budget.
Right.
Because believe it or not, we will be coming back to ICE.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so ankle monitors can either be used with GPS or radio frequency. Mm-hmm. There are also ankle monitors for elderly people who are suffering from dementia because somewhere around 40% of patients with dementia go wandering.
Yeah.
Go a wandering.
Yeah.
And that's a very cheap and convenient way to keep track of.
I totally understand the benefits of these GPS monitoring systems. We've got AirTags. People put them in their kids' backpacks. Like, at its surface, that's not the issue.
And fortunately, that's not what we're talking about today.
Right.
I'm not going to touch on that again, but I just wanted to say, and there are also critics of people, or critics who are critical of putting dementia patients, fitting them with any sort of GPS device too, because there's two sides to every coin. And
well, it's tough if you get to a point where you can't consent mentally, and the autonomy that's lost with having your every move tracked. I say, as I have my location shared with Lucy, my husband, my sister, my mom, 3 of my other friends, my cousin.
Oh my God, there was a period of 3 days or something when Corey was just like, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And I was like, bitch, you have my location.
Yes, stop asking me this.
And he was like, I don't know what that means. I don't know how to find it. So I just show him on his phone how to locate me. And he was like, this is weird.
World.
No, he thought it was weird. And
yeah, it is weird, but it
is a little bit weird. But also, you don't need to ask where I am.
I also literally never look at it unless I'm expecting Bill at a certain time after a video shoot or something, and it's getting late and I don't know where he is, but I don't want to bug him on the job, so I'll check it. But I'm not really paying that much attention.
The only time I've really ever used it is to see how close in proximity my spouse is to our home to see how soon he could just get here.
Yep.
Where the fuck are you? How far away are you?
100%.
Okay, so a little bit of history. The first portable transceivers that could record a person's location was developed by researchers at Harvard in the early 1960s. And this work was primarily done with 2 brothers who were also twins. Their last name was Schwitzgebel.
Okay.
Schwitzgebel. 2 distinct men, but I am not going to distinguish them here. It was intended to be used as in an offender supervision capacity. If someone was behaving badly, they would get put this Schwitzgebel, this twin machine on them.
Yuck.
And then they would be kind of monitored from there. It was definitely not how we ended up using it today. Mm-hmm. The portable electronic tag, the anklet, no, they call it the ankle bracelet. And every time I read that, I something in the back of my head was like, anklet.
It's a fucking anklet, and it has 3.
It's a fucking anklet, and you're gay.
And it has 3 dolphin charms from Miami Beach on it.
And they're all a pearlescent lavender.
Anklet, and you're gay.
I don't know, the ankle bracelet. I don't know. There's something about it. It was I don't know.
It'll always be an anklet in my heart. Anything that goes around the ankle is an anklet.
It's a thick anklet, but it's an anklet nonetheless.
It's an oppressive anklet.
It's a thick, uncomfortable, electronic, oppressive anklet.
Yeah.
So the first one was called a, quote, behavior transmitter reinforcer.
Don't love that.
And this device could transmit data 2 ways between the base station and basically the anklet, which was ostensibly attached to a volunteer who represented a young adult offender.
Okay.
In these early phases of the experimentation.
And when was this? The 90s?
60s, early
The
60s.
60s. Oh, shit. Okay.
So they were trying to find a way to not necessarily track, but to be able to communicate messages between maybe what we would now recognize as a person's parole officer with the offender. But it was like more low level than that. It was sort of like a troubled youth's community like leader, where if they were signaled as like getting out of a certain area, then they would get an audible transmission from someone at their main station saying like, "Oh, come back home. Don't have that beer. You're safer here. Come on back." You know what I mean?
Okay.
So these messages were supposed to be sent to the tag to provide positive reinforcement to the quote unquote young offender and thus assist in rehabilitation. Because pre-1970s, the U.S. was a lot more invested in rehabilitation over incarceration.
Okay.
I mean, I just finished the Ed Gein show on Netflix. Have you
Lord
seen
Jesus.
it yet? The monster one?
Yes, and
Well, it reminded me, it was subtle, but it reminded me that in the 1950s, what we would call like a psychological, like a crazy house, a mental institution, something like that. They had like wainscoting and wood and beautiful wallpaper and like decent lighting, and they were funded enough. They were supposed to function more as like a rehabilitation facility than like somewhere that you were just keeping people so that they didn't get out and reoffend. Whereas where we see a lot of mental health facilities now, it's just you're keeping them there. You're not necessarily treating people, let alone curing people. You're just kind of keeping them out of society.
right, which some cases do call for. You know, that
Yes, but that wasn't the blanket solution
No.
for everybody
It
the way that
certainly
it is
isn't.
now. So that was sort of like the prototype. That's what they were trying to kind of get off the ground. But in 1966, the Harvard Law Review published a review of these electronic tags that were being developed at Harvard. And this review was pretty skeptical. And it sort of started a rumor about what ended up being called the Schwitzgebel machine. So like those twins.
yeah.
They just called it the Schwitzgebel machine, and they alleged that it used brain implants, or like brain implant transmitters.
Oh,
like
Lord.
brain sending messages to the quote unquote young offender or whoever it was like, you know, attached to.
Which
And
is
then-
not how that technology worked.
Well, I mean,
They
the
didn't
technology.
have brain implants. I
I
mean,
think the technology kind of barely worked the way it was supposed to work, let alone for
Yeah.
brain implants. The fuck are you talking about? But there was this like overarching theme of like Big Brother surveillance, state control, and rightfully so, really.
yes, we should
But
always be critical of that shit because everything that they test out on quote unquote offenders or prisoners is really
Dude.
just the testing site for what will eventually be used on you, on us.
I'm not gonna go there now.
But it's just true.
But
Yeah.
it may or may not be happening right now.
It absolutely
can't-
is.
I fucking cannot.
Yeah, it's
So
awful.
when one of these Schwitzgebel brothers submitted a paper kind of expounding on the virtues,
Let me
not the virtues,
explain.
but like the benefits of the
What this actually is and not a brain implant device.
kind of, but I don't know that it was necessarily like clearing it up or just more sort of explaining the benefits of it, but he submitted it to the US government publication called Federal Probation, which I think is just, I mean, it's like it's a federal,
Like circulatory,
yeah, called Federal Probation. That just makes me think of like, you know,
like an internal memo kind of.
like defense mechanisms and like how to just kind of keep the system running, you know,
Sure.
not necessarily like innovation, but just productivity, I guess, kind of. But this, so he sent it in to get published in this government magazine. And then he promptly got a rejection letter, which read in part, quote, "I get the impression from your article that we're going to make automatons out of our parolees and that the parole officer of the future will be an expert in telemetry, sitting at his large computer, receiving calls day and night and telling his parolees what to do in all situations and circumstances. Perhaps we should also be thinking about using electronic devices to rear our children. Since they do not have built-in consciences to tell them right from wrong, all they would have to do is to push the mother button, and she would take over the responsibility for decision-making."
Oh, I wish I had a mother button. How right they ended up being.
I would kill for a mother button. Like, I understand the skepticism.
Right, but this was
I get
dramatic for that moment.
But also, like, technologically speaking, there were no brain fucking implants.
No, they're
like,
putting a lot on this one device that doesn't do a lot of what they're claiming it does.
And maybe it was just a fear of what could happen in the future.
Again,
now
valid.
all of a sudden we're face first against AI. Like, we're defenseless at this point. But maybe then they were just trying to kind of prevent that sort of acceleration. But just felt like the response was a little bit much.
Yeah, a little much.
Well, it doesn't matter because then in the 1970s, the U.S. just stopped caring about rehabilitative sentencing, and this big brother myth just didn't seem to matter so much anymore because who the fuck cares about these guys? We're not rehabilitating prisoners anymore. We're extending the punishments as far as we can.
Yep.
So in the 70s, we started sending more people to prison, and therefore probation became more common. And that is where we get to the more commercialization of the ankle monitor thing. So there are several factors that have been identified as necessary to make electronic monitoring effective.
Okay.
So that includes appropriately selecting offenders. For example, like a person who committed maybe like some fraud online or like some really white collar crimes, it wouldn't make a difference to put them in an ankle monitor.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If they're not at risk to like escape, or
Yeah,
if they're not at risk to like leave their property and sell drugs or something like that. Like it, some offenders, it doesn't make sense to put an ankle monitor on them. Also, we need the appropriate technology. So we talked about the sweat sucking alcohol thing. The technology is important. And also, the more advanced the technology, the smaller the apparatuses get. And that also actually solves a whole slew of problems. Making sure that the tags are fitted properly. There is supposed to be like an expert who puts the actual ankle monitor on you.
Yeah.
And tightens it to the appropriate way.
So you can't get it off, but so it isn't like digging into your skin.
Correct. It has to be applied appropriately. Also, responding to breaches promptly, which we will fucking get to. But basically that means if an ankle monitor, say a person's wearing an ankle monitor, they leave their property, the alarm goes off, the alarm triggers like the ankle monitor center, and no one's there to answer the phone or answer the call or log it or whatever. And it doesn't
they have to have
matter.
the resources to actually monitor who is on the ankle monitor.
And that, I think, seems to be one of the bigger problems
Yeah.
in this entire layout.
Episode.
Yeah. Also between communication between the criminal justice system and contractors, because at the end of the day, it is contractors who are producing ankle monitors and fitting them to the offenders. So there has got to be some sort of interface between those two parties. And a lot of the times it is not adequate. So there are pitfalls and issues with every single one of these components. But these are the factors that have been identified in previous studies as being like contributing to the efficacy of this whole program.
Okay.
So I did find a website. This is basically from a Florida attorney, and the website is 727defense.com.
Love it. All right.
I'm assuming 727 is like the area code.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Okay, so I did Google, this might have been a bad idea, but I did Google how to cut off an ankle monitor. And
this
one of the
might have been a bad idea, but
dude, I have Googled so much stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
if this is what breaks the camel's back, I will be shocked.
yep.
And it's really hard to find a solid answer. I'll say that. But I think that the strap itself is electrified.
It has sensors at least.
So if you try to cut through it with like a serrated knife or whatever, it's gonna trigger the alarm. So not only is it like nylon, like super tightly woven, supposed to be really uncuttable, also metal, but it's also electrified and they'll know. And also, have you ever watched, I think you have because I think I made you, Love After Lockup?
I've seen a couple of the episodes that you've forced me to watch.
There's so many. But like, they'll be wearing their ankle monitors and it'll be a low battery. They have to they have to go plug it into a wall.
Yep. That
They have
comes
to
up in my case.
Sit within 12, 18, 24 inches of a wall, their ankle by the wall, and have it charge. Like, the disparity of like the technological advancements about like, we can do this and we can make sure we know exactly where your human body is, down to the point where we can tell if you're within your house or in your backyard, but you have to plug yourself into the wall.
Well, yeah.
And you can't take a bath.
It's got to charge. We got to keep your foot out if you take a bath.
Well, yeah, you have to. Okay, so that leads
I can't soak my
This
insulin
is
pump,
from-
and I have to plug into a wall. I have a cord next to my bed, so I always say I'm plugging myself in. I plug my pump in while I'm sleeping.
But it's still attached to your body. You can't take it off while you're
No,
charging.
because it's giving me insulin.
Oh, Jesus.
I can't remove it. I need it to stay alive.
Well, you're no better than a common criminal.
Damn right.
Out on parole with
Proud
an
of
ankle
it.
monitor. Well, according to 727defense.com, you are allowed to take showers. So you can have water sprinkling over, but you can't submerge the device.
Yep.
And if you do, it will be handled in the same manner as an attempt to tamper with the device. You can also be charged for any damages caused by like damaging the bracelet. And if you have one of the alcohol monitors, the constant alcohol, whatever, the one that controls your sweat every 30 minutes, that is super duper sensitive. So if you come into contact with like hand sanitizer or different colognes or perfumes or different cleaning products,
It could trigger it.
that could potentially trigger a false positive. And
That
the
sucks.
judge, I mean, don't fuck with it. Like,
Yeah.
whoever is reviewing your shit, you're not going to be like, oh, I spill. Or like another example, I'm a bar back at a bar and I spilled some shit from someone's drink down my leg or whatever. A judge is not inclined to believe that. And so that the sensitivities of one of those continuous alcohol monitor tags,
That could be a real problem.
it could be a huge problem, especially if your parole depends on your employment
Yeah.
or anything like that. I read through so many stories, and these parameters are so fucking fragile.
I had an employee at a former restaurant that I worked that was on parole and wore an ankle monitor. And it can really, so much can depend on just like how good your parole officer is. Because we were in very good communication with their parole officer. It's restaurant work. So you don't have a very set out time. You're typically, you're hopeful to be cut when service, high volume service ends, and then hopefully you get out by a certain time each night, like certainly by close. But some nights it could be really slow, and so you're cut at 6:30, and some nights it's slammed and you're not cut until 11,
And you could break your curfew.
Correct. So we would have to really be in constant communication, which we were happy to do. We really cared about this employee very much, and like wanted to see them succeed. And, I'm not going to share any more than that, but, it was a sensitive situation. But if they have a good, a decent and communicative parole officer who we would call regularly and say, hey, this is so-and-so, we can't let this employee leave yet. The restaurant's too busy. Like, we're going to try to get them out at this time, but we'll call you again, to check in just so that yes, we are confirming that they are still here and that they're still working. But it's like, if you don't have officers that are willing to work with you or an employer that is willing to do that consistently throughout your shift to protect you, the employee, it's like impossible. And a lot of these folks are taking public transportation. So what if the bus is late and then they're off schedule or they're off course from where they're supposed to go if they catch the wrong bus? Like, it's just so much that average people don't consider that can have a massive impact on a parolee's entire life. Is scary.
If you consider all of the parameters, and like when I was doing research for this, I came across a bunch of like blogs or articles or quotes or something from different parolees, and they were saying a lot of these rules for your parole are contradictory.
Right.
So like, you have to be at home between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. But this person got a job and their training shift was supposed to be from 5 to 6.
Yep.
And they called ahead.
Yep.
But there weren't enough staff
Yep.
to transfer that information over to their parole officer. And that's kind of where the gap between these agencies that sell and also monitor reports from these ankle monitors and whatever, them reporting that to the appropriate like police station, it's fucked.
Yeah.
The system does not work in way too many one case not working is too much.
And then the paroled individual is at the mercy of all of these moving parts that can't be trusted to have their best interests at heart.
No.
And to be on top of this kind of shit.
We'll kind of get to that. But I also realized that I didn't actually tell you about the booze part really yet. So some of these ankle monitors have booze detection. So it's called Secure Continuous Remote Alcohol Monitoring, or SCRAM.
Jesus Christ.
It's currently available in 35 states. And this is from the Scram Cam website. This is their pitch. Yes, Scram Cam. Like a breathalyzer for the ankle, the Scram Continuous Alcohol Monitoring, or Scram Cam bracelet, provides 24/7 transdermal alcohol testing for hardcore drunk drivers, high-risk alcohol, and domestic violence caseloads. Not well written.
No.
You can see why I was confused. By automatically sampling the wearer's perspiration every 30 minutes, the Scram Cam bracelet eliminates testing gaps and encourages accountability. Scram Cam not only supports sobriety, but also results in higher compliance rates with court orders and increases community safety.
Yeah.
On its face, of course, that's a good thing for people who have been convicted of alcohol-related violent charges.
Crimes. Yep.
I don't necessarily have anything against Scram if it is used as prescribed.
If it's used as prescribed, and if the technology is advanced enough for it to function properly and be accurate and not be like ruining the wearer's life for accidentally using fucking hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And I don't think that repeat alcohol crime related offenders like drunk drivers and, I don't think that they should go completely unchecked and without consequences. I certainly don't think they should be behind the wheel. But like, it's that slippery slope of, in this specific case where this person did a terrible thing and needs to be, monitored for the rest of their life. That technology also gets applied to someone who didn't do nearly that, but just got a judge on a bad day or a racist judge or whatever, and they decided that they have to wear this thing. And now their entire fucking life is turned upside down.
And there are a lot of reports, they're anecdotal, but they are still reports of people saying, you know, I've been ordered not to go within however many yards of a school, even though my crime had nothing to do with children.
Mm-hmm.
Or same with drinking, or same with, you know, any number of things. There are all sorts of restrictions that these ankle monitors, these GPS systems can be used to apply, and not all of them make sense.
Yeah.
It's sort of just like kind of, you know, ticking the boxes. Like, what do you mean I can't go to my daughter's dance recital because I can't go to a school even though I, you know, was charged for like a white collar crime? I'm just making this up. But you know what I mean? The infringements that are sometimes applied because of these ankle monitors should not be applicable to the crime that was originally committed. And a lot of the times they're applied sort of indiscriminately, and just like one more thing. Nobody cares because there's no oversight, because there's, you know, and then the next thing you know, a person has lost their job or can't be in contact with their family or whatever.
And that's why, like, I know it's fucked up because we do this show where we talk about really awful people who have done really awful things. But if we just give in to the societal perception of incarcerated people as if they are not human and they don't matter, and that they aren't, you know, oppressed in their own way and don't have all kinds of things contributing to why they're in there, some things that are their fault and some things that are entirely not their fault, it like allows us to dehumanize these folks and desensitize ourselves to what the state does to them, again, as practice for what they will eventually do to you. So like if the state is testing out the use of a monitor bracelet like this, and it has all these issues, and these issues are out there, but the general consensus is, well, these people are fucking criminals, so I like don't really care if their life is turned upside down, and I don't really care if they get flagged for hand sanitizer. Like, fuck them, they did this to themselves. If that's the attitude, then the state's gonna keep getting away with shit until it's right on your own fucking doorstep, and no one's left to care that it's happening to you. So like all of this shit is connected. That's why we have to care about the rights of incarcerated people, and we have to care about preventative measures and like care about, you know, rehabilitation, and not just the punitive system of our government.
Or the application to people who we deem deserve it.
Exactly, because someone at the top is saying who deserves what. And so if that is just like allowed to be indiscriminately handed down from someone in a chair.
Well, we'll get to it, because right now we are talking about primarily offenders and parolees. Previously, like a long time ago when this was invented, it was intended for people who have offended and who are not in jail and who are not supposed to be punished, but they're supposed to be rehabilitated. That was the purpose of the original ankle monitors. Then we see after the 70s, it's a punitive thing.
Correct.
You cannot leave your house. You have to be these places at this time. But these are for parolees, people who have already been charged and convicted of a crime. So just making that clear in the timeline, that's as far as we have discussed yet. So, but before we get any further, I do want to talk about the pros to ankle monitors, or this, monitoring devices. They are a lot cheaper than keeping a person in prison, which costs about $200 a day, versus as little as 70 cents per day to monitor them electronically. Surveys have shown that electronic monitoring was a more effective punitive measure than were fines. And it was also generally more effective than community service. And also there's the whole thing about like, oh, well, you're going to learn more when you're in prison about committing crimes. You know, you meet other criminals in prison. They'll tell you what they did. They tell you how they did it.
Sure.
You swap stories. You get kind of into criminality. It can be more influential towards criminality to spend time in prison than not.
Well, and I mean, even if that weren't the case, it's just not a safe environment for people.
And it's also not rehabilitative.
No.
There is a 2006 study of over 75,000 Florida offenders who were placed on home detention between 1998 and 2002. So there's this whole study of all these people. Most of them were not wearing ankle monitors, but some of them were.
Okay.
And then at the end, the researchers sort of asked questions and zeroed in on essentially the pros and cons of ankle monitors and then the results about like what differences that made in their day-to-day lives and also what kind of outcome that had on their recidivism or like continued criminality. And the results showed that offenders who wore electronic tags were both 91% less likely to abscond, meaning to like run to a different state or whatever. And also almost 95% less likely to commit new offenses than unmonitored offenders. It's not a small pool of people.
No, I mean, those results are positive.
They are positive.
And we're not even advocating to like do away with monitoring systems. Like that's not necessarily what we're saying. It's more about like oversight, regulation.
Well, let's come back to that after we're all the way done.
Oh God.
Because I did find some surprising information.
That's going to change my mind.
Aware of.
Okay.
Well, it's more complicated than that. Like everything is. It's complicated. Okay, so those are some of the statistical pros, and of course there are a lot of cons. So ankle monitors don't actually stop someone from leaving a certain area or from committing a crime.
No, they just alert you,
Yeah.
They're supposed to alert for changes in either behavior or geographic location.
Right, but it's not apples to apples is what I'm saying. And also home detention is widely viewed, at least like by the public, as a more lenient punishment. And I think if you were to ask anybody, would you rather be in a prison cell or be at your own home with an ankle monitor? Of course, they would choose at home with an ankle monitor, but that's still not psychologically great. And we'll get to that too. So critics have expressed concerns about not only those things, but about data mining and also how this is an inappropriate level of surveillance, warning that we are moving toward a, quote, maximum security society. And that quote was from the 90s.
Right.
So like, that whoever said that would probably have a heart attack. But like,
can you imagine?
You're just constantly being monitored and your lack of privacy. Again, we're talking primarily about parolees, people who have convicted of committing crimes, and like, I don't know. There are very muddy waters here. Okay, so this next part is straight from Wikipedia because
duh.
At least I'm telling you. In 2013, it was reported that many electronic monitoring programs throughout the United States were not staffed appropriately. George Drake, a consultant who worked on improving the system, said, quote, "Many times when an agency is budgeted for electronic monitoring equipment, it is only budgeted for the devices themselves."
Yep, not the staff that actually has to respond to the calls,
fucking
check the
run
trackers, run the,
It's like saying you paid for the phones. You didn't pay for anyone to answer the phones.
Right.
He added that the situation was, here we go, quote, like buying a hammer and expecting a house to be built. It's simply a tool, and it requires a professional to use that tool and to run the program. Drake warned that programs can get out of control if officials did not develop stringent protocols for how to respond to alerts and do not manage how alerts are generated. He said, quote, "I see agencies with so many alerts that they can't deal with them. They end up just throwing their hands up and saying they can't keep up with them." In Colorado, a review of alert and event data obtained from the Colorado Department of Corrections under an open records request was conducted by matching the names of parolees who appeared in that data with those who appeared in jail arrest records. So they were basically seeing how they overlapped.
Got it.
If someone was already out on parole and then committed another crime because there wasn't an automatic system to fucking figure that out.
I mean, that's pretty much what happened in my case that the fan picker picked for me.
So this data revealed that 212 parole officers were saddled with the duty of responding to nearly 90,000 alerts and notifications generated by electronic monitoring devices in the span of 6 months.
Oh my fucking God. There's no way that this system is effective when the people tasked with monitoring these systems are over tasked like that. There's no way.
212 officers to respond to 90,000 alerts in 6 months.
You may as well just not show up to work at all, honestly, if that's...
Well, and you can't say that either, because then it's zero.
No, I know, but I'm saying I'm not advocating for people not to do this job. I'm saying that it's almost as effective as if nobody was doing anything, because how the fuck do you even keep up with that?
Okay,
especially when you've got the monitors that are going off because of I spilled on my leg at my bar shift.
I spilled the counter cleaner down my leg at my job, which I'm required to do.
Under the terms of my parole.
I don't even think spilled down your leg. I think if you use hand sanitizer and the alcohol gets into your bloodstream through your skin, which I
don't know the rate of how that or how likely that is to happen. But yeah, it just opens up Pandora's box of potential bullshit.
Those have been proven to be too sensitive, if not all of them, because a lot of them are proprietary and will fucking get to the proprietary.
Oh, Jesus.
But it ain't right. It's not working. And actually, this was a big issue in Louisiana this past summer, June of 2025. This is from 4WWL. So basically, backstory, there's a guy named Nicholas Miarana who was booked in connection with an ambush-style shooting that ended up taking the life of 27-year-old Yasmin Webb and wounded 3 others. So it was this horrible...
violent
event that happened. Miarana and 3 other people are booked in relation to this. They discover that after his arrest, that according to his ankle monitor record, he had violated the terms of his parole at least 40 times before this happened, because there was no communication between the ankle monitor being like, oh, ding, 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 you did something wrong. And then it has to go through bing, 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 however many places to actually register with someone who can fucking do something about it.
Yeah, there was no response to any of the pings.
Yeah. So, quote, WWL looked beyond Miarana and found dozens of other defendants who were repeat violators but faced no repercussions from judges. In some of those cases, the violators were later rearrested and booked with new crimes. So Louisiana passed a bill that includes mandatory reporting of violations to judges and prosecutors, the ability of a judge to issue an arrest warrant for a violation, and jail time after 3 confirmed violations. So one of the people who are really pushing this bill was Attorney General Liz Murrill, who said, quote, there's no point in putting people in ankle monitors if no one's monitoring the device or if there's no consequences for violators. This bill is a common sense response to this problem. And the bill also adds teeth to ensure compliance by ankle monitoring companies, the companies who own the ankle monitors who are responsible for those pings in the first place, as well as offenders. Monitoring companies can have their registration taken away for 5 years for failing to report these violations. And for offenders, violating ankle monitor conditions would become a separate crime, punishable by up to 6 months in jail. So there's that. I mean, we all have our feelings about the criminal justice system, but it makes it so much worse if one of the devices for supposedly making, coping with that a little bit easier is actively making it worse.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, the worst part of my segment, which has to do with immigration. So immigration, as I think has been stated multiple times in recent weeks, is supposed to be a civil law, not a criminal law. And courts do not consider immigration detention to be punishment because of that reason. You didn't technically commit a crime. So you're not technically being punished. And
You're
that
just
means
being detained and
that
disappeared.
means, per Harvard Law School's Phil Torrey in 2015, quote, immigration detention is criminal detention without the constitutional protections.
Right.
So just opening with that, first of all, some ankle monitor related terms. I took these from a 2021 paper by the Greenberg Immigration Justice Clinic, which was in collaboration with a couple of other immigration advocacy programs. They define, they have a term called e-carceration, which is the use of technology to deprive people of their liberty, which is basically a big umbrella blanket term for everything we're talking about. Mm-hmm. There's something called ATD, or Alternative to Detention. And this refers to coercive programs that tag people with intrusive methods of surveillance, such as GPS ankle monitors, or through mobile apps, telephonic or in-person appointments, and also arbitrary home visits. So I might have more of this later on, but they can make you have an app on your phone that requires facial recognition to make sure that your phone has GPS to where you are and that you are where your phone says you are.
Jesus.
And also, if they were to call you, they have voice recognition technology to make sure that it's actually you answering the phone to say, yes, I'm here, I'm at my house. Mm-hmm. And that usually requires a landline. But there's some different ways to like monitor the GPS thing, the alcohol, the constant alcohol monitoring thing, voice recognition, facial recognition. These things are typically used in tandem, mm-hmm. but it's all to the same end. It's to make sure that you are where you say you are.
Right. And doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
What you were told to be doing.
Then we have ISAP, which is Intensive Supervision Assistance Program.
Love that.
This is the primary component of ICE's Alternative to Detention program. So this combines ankle monitoring and telephonic check-ins. It was launched in 10 different cities in 2004 by BI Incorporated, which is a private contractor. Mm-hmm. Individuals who are required to enroll in ISAP, which is often a condition of release from physical detention, are typically subject to one or more forms of e-carceration. So the GPS ankle monitor, the voice recognition, the phone calls, the app thing, whatever, or other like reporting requirements. So ISAP is basically the program with which ICE uses to monitor immigrants who have been either immigrants or immigrants who have been flagged as being undocumented.
Yeah, it's the ICE
who
app.
Are not. It's the ICE app. Mm-hmm. ISAP. ISAP. ICE app.
Uh-huh.
So then we have Behavioral Intervention, or BI Incorporated. This was formerly known as Behavioral Interventions Incorporated. BI was founded in 1978 as a dairy cow tracking service in Boulder, Colorado.
Made for cows, used on humans.
Yup. The company has since pivoted from cattle to humans, becoming the nation's largest provider of electronic monitoring services in the criminal and immigration enforcement systems. Criminal and immigration enforcement systems. Mm-hmm. In 2011, BI was bought by GEO Group, one of the largest private prison companies in the world, for $415 million in cash. BI would become part of GEO Care, which is one of GEO's wholly owned subsidiaries. And at the time, the acquisition was expected to increase GEO's total annual revenue by $115 million to more than $1.6 billion. Because, of course,
the privatized...
it's all about money.
Yeah.
Period.
The privatized, like, prison and carceral industry is so fucking sick. There's so
and
much
this is
money
just
in it
one
from all these different branches.
arm of it.
Yeah.
This is one skinny little arm of it.
It's gnarly, dude.
When announcing this purchase, GEO CEO George Zolli told shareholders, quote, "It's just another opportunity to grow our company in a different way and maybe even on a faster, accelerated basis because of the application and concept of continual care."
Yep.
So he's saying, hey, there's way more prospect in a country that is criminalizing immigrants than there are in runaway dairy cows.
Yep.
So that's what that means. In a survey of immigrants subject to ankle monitoring, 90% experienced harm to their physical health, including electric shocks and burns. I read several accounts of people being their shackles on their ankles overheat and burn them, and they can't take them off, and they can't dunk them in water, and they can't. They malfunction. There's you can't just like call Verizon like, hey, help me with this electronic.
That's horrifying.
Nearly the same proportion, 88%, reported negative impacts to their mental health, including 12% who considered suicide as a result of being monitored.
Ugh.
And nearly all of them, 97%, reported social isolation.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And
You're wearing a scarlet letter on your fucking ankle.
No, actually.
Yeah.
I read an article. It was like an opinion article, kind of blogs thing about a person who, I mean, their experience was harrowing, super unfair, absolutely traumatizing. But they said the worst part was you have this ankle monitor, you're out in the world, but you can't go anywhere. You have to schedule everything. You can't have a job. I mean, this was their experience. But then their quote was, freedom is all around you, but it isn't for you.
Yeah, you just walk.
And that broke my heart.
Yeah, you just walk around it, basically.
The paper reports that ISAP is no more effective at ensuring appearance than holistic approaches such as access to legal representation and non-coercive community support services. There's not, I mean, this isn't the only solution.
No.
Control and coercive control is never the only solution.
No, and they're not fucking criminals, period.
No.
And we should be skeptical of its usage, even if and when it is on criminals. Like it's just a very slippery slope.
It really is.
And yeah.
So you'll be proud of me. I was looking on Reddit.
Oh, good job.
About ankle monitors. I just looked at ankle monitors and I found a couple different posts, which I want to read to sort of lighten the mood for the end of my segment. Okay, so this first one, I don't even remember what the topic was. It was something about, ankle monitors, tell me your stories. And this is a post from No Advantage 2294 said, quote, a guy in town, first day on the job, got his ankle monitor caught on a branch and pulled into the wood chipper, lost both his legs. No one could hear him scream because they had ear protection on.
Oh my God. This is supposed to lighten the mood? What are you, a lunatic?
He's got the best attitude, though. A lot better than I'd have.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay, the other two are better.
Oh my fucking God.
Another post said, just got an ankle monitor put on. How do I remove it?
Good for you.
Because I did Google how to remove an ankle monitor. And then a quote was, go to jail. You don't have to wear them there.
Jesus.
And then my favorite, a hacksaw will cut through the problematic tissue and bone. After your foot is removed, the anklet should slip right off.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Don't do that.
So there's a little bit of background about the ankles.
Holy shit. No, this was really good though, because so much of this, it will be very clear, like a lot of things that went wrong in my case. And like, this was very eye-opening as to how so much was overlooked now makes a lot of sense to me after hearing those statistics. So thank you for that.
Okay, good. Yeah, there are a lot of pervasive problems with this kind of monitoring. And
Big time.
Ethics and morals aside, which like we shouldn't put them aside, but like those aside, logistically, that's not great. It's not working.
No, there definitely need to be better systems in place for the like reintroduction of specifically violent like felons into society.
Yep.
And when we don't have those things in place, what I'm about to talk about can happen. So
Great.
let's take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors, and then we'll get to our fan picker's very tragic case.
Super great.
Can't wait. I am picky about scents that I wear. And I don't wear a ton of them, but there is like nothing worse than seeing a trending scent or getting excited about a scent and dropping like $150 on a bottle of it and then taking it home and realizing, oh no, I actually don't really like this. Like it wasn't what I was expecting. You're out the money. You sprayed it. You can't return it. No. But this is why I love micro perfumes, because micro perfumes make sure you never have to play fragrance roulette again, because for just a few bucks, you can test drive the real deal. We're talking Dior, Tom Ford, Creed, authentic designer scents without the full bottle gamble. So you can be picky. You can really find what you like before you fully commit to that $150 bottle.
Yeah, so here is how it works. Micro perfumes lets you sample luxury fragrances. They have little pocket-sized vials. You can get the sample, you can get a travel spray, or you can get the full-size product. So you get the true high-end experience, but like in the amounts that you want it in. My big problem with perfumes is that I get very sick of whatever I'm using fairly quickly. So I like to have a big rotation. So these little sample bottles and the travel sprays are like the perfect size for me. I don't wear perfumes very often, but when I do, I just feel like I'm representing myself in a scent.
Elevated, luxurious.
Yes. Or maybe I'm feeling a little spicy and I want to do a little like, I want to step out of myself for a minute, try something a little bold, a little new. Micro perfumes helps you discover your signature vibe. Oh, I also recently ordered the Billie Eilish perfume.
Oh, I want to try that.
I didn't even read the notes. I just know I'm going to love it.
That's our girl.
So you can discover like new brands. They've also got like, you know, these designer brands that you know all about. These are just a few dollars per sample. No knockoffs either, which is something else you got to watch out for when you're dealing with very affordably priced perfumes. They also ship so fast straight to your door. They have over 500 fragrances for all genders. And unlike subscription boxes or shady discount sites, micro perfumes gives you instant access to authentic in-stock fragrances. These are the real thing. They're very affordable, and they're ready when you are.
So why commit blind to a $200 bottle? Find your scent soulmate today and get up to 60% off at microperfumes.com/gals. That's microperfumes.com/gals for up to 60% off. Micro Perfumes, real scents, no regrets.
If your cute little kitty could talk, they'd probably tell you, hey, Mom, I want a litter upgrade. It's not great down there. If you are not buying single-ply toilet paper for yourself, why are you giving your precious little baby outdated cat litter? Make their bathroom experience better for both of you with Pretty Litter. It's soft on their paws, it stays fresher longer, and it is so easy to maintain. It's not just a pretty litter. Pretty Litter is nice on the eyes, but it is so much more than that.
Pretty Litter is quite literally amazing. It helps monitor your cat's health, testing acidity and alkalinity levels and the visible presence of blood in your cat's urine. So it's like giving you hints. Hey, maybe call your vet. Maybe flag this issue. Pretty Litter also ships free right to your door, so you don't have to lug those giant, heavy bags or cartons of litter through the grocery store. It takes up half your cart. It's the worst. You don't have to go, oh, crud, I forgot to grab litter. I got to run to the pet store after you've already done a bunch of errands. No, because, baby, it's just going to show up right there for you. Pretty Litter's crystals are safe for cats and people alike. And this is my favorite part. I've got 2 cats. And I've got a small house. And like Lucy, my litter box situation is downstairs by the laundry, but we have like a living room downstairs. So we spend a lot of time in our basement. You don't want your house, your basement, your laundry room to smell like a cat box. And Pretty Litter has advanced odor control, which means your home smells like your home, not your cat's toilet. The ultra-absorbent formula uses less material than clay litter, which reduces waste, it saves money. This is truly ideal for apartments, busy lifestyles, multi-cat households, small quarters. I've got the multi-cat, I've got the small quarters, I've got less of the busy lifestyle, but you know what I'm saying. I truly love it. We switched to Pretty Litter, honestly, a long time ago before they were even a sponsor, and the cats love it. They adapted to it immediately when we changed from clay litter for pepperoni. It was like, there was no issue. She just immediately was like, oh my God, this is so much cleaner. I love this.
Right now, save 20% on your first order and get a free cat toy at prettylitter.com/gals. That's prettylitter.com/gals to save 20% on your first order and get a free cat toy. prettylitter.com/gals. Pretty Litter cannot detect every feline health issue or prevent or diagnose diseases. A diagnosis can only come from a licensed veterinarian. Terms and conditions apply. See site for details.
Okay, so one thing that always shifts for me when the weather gets colder, the nights get a little longer, is I get compelled to cook a little bit more. I want to get a little witchy. I want to be in my kitchen making like hearty bowls and delicious meals and just really, getting ready for that cozy weather. And honestly, if you think that you have to spend like big bucks or tons of time in your kitchen to get into cooking or make delicious food at home, think again, because I am not a chef. And I was never really that drawn to cooking until I got into something like Every Plate, because they're sending you meal kits that get you restaurant-level deliciousness week after week with recipes like, girl, buckle up, crispy buffalo ranch chicken, cheesy Mexican street corn hash. These recipes have taught me like how to properly cook pork. I'm getting more adventurous about like cooking fish or seafood dishes that I just didn't Yes, I didn't have the skill set or like the confidence to do myself, but they walk you through everything so well that I'm like, oh, Gordon Ramsay who? Let's go.
Also, about cooking in the wintertime, I don't want to go to the grocery store for everything. I'm gonna forget something.
Always.
That's why I love these meal kit delivery services. You're gonna spend less on these flavor-packed homemade meals than you would on your normal groceries or at a restaurant, and you're not gonna waste 5/6 of the basil that you bought.
Right. I got a whole thing of cilantro to use like 12 leaves.
Exactly.
Come on, girl.
And if you feel like you're in a rut, you're cooking the same things over and over again, this is key. Up your dinner game in 30 minutes or less with Every Plate's clear, easy-to-follow recipes. And thanks to Every Plate's constantly rotating weekly recipes delivered right to your door, you're always going to have the best answer to what's for dinner. They also have so many recipes that I can choose from a wide variety of things that my toddler would also enjoy.
Yeah, for the family life.
Yeah, it's not pinky in the air with all of these recipes, you know what I mean? A lot of them are very, very family friendly and accessible for young children.
I love it. So what are you waiting for? Dig into these flavor-packed meals your household will love. New customers can enjoy this special offer of only $1.99 a meal. Go to everyplate.com/podcast and use code GALS199 to get started. Applied as discount on first box, limited time only. All right, welcome back. From one terror into the next. I have the fan pick case.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and you know, I made the decision to focus a little bit more on law, like a law legal aspect of this than the horrifying details, because
we've had enough of those details anyway.
You know, I don't think that that's incredibly necessary, but I did think that this is a really good case to go with everything that you just covered, because I think it's a good example of how this technology can fail. And that's part of a larger systemic failure. It's not just the ankle monitor. It's like gestures wildly. It's like everything.
It's a lot.
It's a fucking lot. It's one thread of a giant, hideous tapestry. So let's dive in. Reagan Delaney Tokes was a promising 21-year-old psychology major at Ohio State University. She was born in Edgewood, Kentucky, but grew up in Maumee, Maumee, Maumee. That sounds
Maumee.
Maumee, Ohio, and had dreamed of attending OSU since she was a child. She always wanted to go there. So it was very exciting when she got in, but it's no surprise that she got in because she was absolutely like star pupil, so smart. She graduated from Anthony Wayne High School where she had a 4.5 GPA. Okay, girl, let's go.
Fuck?
I know.
How do you even get that?
A lot of
the extra credit.
Yeah, a lot of extra credit. She also played on the varsity lacrosse and tennis team, so she was an accomplished athlete. She was really, really wicked smart. She originally majored in pre-med, but she changed her major to psychology, and she was only like a couple years in at Ohio State when, everything that we're about to talk about happened.
Oh my
She planned on graduating in May of 2017 and moving to Cleveland, where she had hoped to work at the Cleveland Clinic. She also had planned to apply for grad school. She wanted to get a graduate degree in psychology and then eventually open her own psychology practice. When she was taken from this earth, she was just months away from her graduation in May of 2017. So this happened in February of 2017. She was literally about to graduate and like start her life. She was posting online
all
about
of these awards and good grades, and that was probably like going to be the most important day of her life.
She was so excited. She had like posted on her Facebook about picking out a frame for her diploma, and that she made that post like 3 or 4 days before her death.
So robbed.
It's really this crime is so senseless and tragic and just like wrong place, wrong time for her. I mean, she didn't know this person. It's a totally, I don't know. It's unimaginable. Anybody experiencing this kind of violence in their surviving families, like obviously our hearts are so with you, and it's a really complicated thing. And I think that's kind of laid bare in this case, in ways that are important to talk about, while also like really honoring Reagan's memory and the impact that not only her life, but the violent way that her life ended had on her family and on the law. So, a lot. It's a lot. So on the evening of February 8th, 2017, Reagan was working her shift at Bodega, which was a restaurant and bar that was located in Columbus, Ohio's Short North neighborhood. So super cute, like trendy restaurant. Around 9:45 p.m., as she left work and walked to her car, she unfortunately crossed paths with a man.
Oh, never.
I know. It's the worst. His name was Brian Goldsby. Goldsby, who was 29 at the time, was a registered Tier 3 sex offender, which means that he was classified as extremely high risk and already had violent sex crimes on his record. He says that he had an abusive mother and was affected by drug and alcohol abuse as well as childhood sexual assault. Prosecutors disputed this on the basis that his stories were inconsistent, but I think that's fairly common for victims of childhood abuse because of trauma and like how we process that trauma. That can really throw curveballs in our memories. So I take that with a grain of salt because it's prosecutors who were saying that. So like, Of course they're going to say that. But he definitely had a very troubled youth that led to very troubling behavior. Goldsby started committing crimes as a juvenile, most of which were not violent crimes, but was like enough to get him into the system. So he was doing things like trespassing, shoplifting, vandalism. But it's also reported that he at one point threatened his mother with a knife as a child, which again, if he was experiencing abuse in his household, that's not very surprising to me, but it was on his record.
Yeah, and a child threatening a parent with a knife is not average.
Well, no, but if
if
that child was abused by that parent, because he claimed to have been abused by his mother, then yes, both tracks.
Both things can be true. It's not that, it doesn't seem normal, even if you are abused, to threaten your own parent with a knife as a young child like that is all I'm saying.
I mean,
that seems abnormal.
We're not the authority on what is normal or abnormal for like a traumatized child that has potentially experienced like sexual assault and abuse within their family. But like, I see what you're saying. I'm not saying that it shouldn't have been on his record. It's important that we have all of this information. But it just shows.
It should have been on his record.
It just shows like a pattern of behavior. And I think a pretty solid reason why this behavior started. So it escalated when he was a teen, but still a minor. And he received charges for the sexual assault of other children, as well as suspected gang activity. And children who were abused, it is a very common pattern for those children to, while they're still minors, abuse other children. And also, if, they do not heal from that cycle, if they don't get those resources, to perpetuate sexual abuse later in their life. It's just a really fucking awful situation because these kids are hurt and then they can go on to hurt other people if they don't get help and they don't get protection. So clearly he's in and out of the system most of his life. And again, I'm not laying all of this out to like sympathize or like let go what he ended up doing, because what he did was incredibly wrong and fucking horrifying. And this is a man who had been in the system for most of his life. And clearly he had been, like I said, harmed by people close to him. And as a result, he was causing harm to other people. And he needed serious early intervention. And I'm just a firm believer that like wraparound support and early intervention in cases like this can really help to avoid escalation of violence. And before this guy became who we know now, he was a young black kid who needed help, just being passed around from detention center to detention center. And we'll never know if he could have received care that would have prevented what he would go on to do as an adult. Care that could have potentially saved Reagan's life and the lives of other people that he harmed. So I just think it's important when we're like talking about these kinds of things and talking about these stories that like we understand that violence isn't just like something that happens out of nowhere. Like it's something that usually is a result of a lot of other fucked up shit. And that fucked up shit not being addressed.
And we can understand that and recognize it without condoning the resulting behavior.
Exactly. This is not like, that does not mean that this individual gets carte blanche to do whatever the fuck they want. That's not okay.
There are plenty of people who have gone through horrendous trauma who
don't do this.
End up with these violent means. But
there are.
It is important to understand how people get here.
So yeah, I find that to be such a failure, obviously, for this guy, but like especially for the victims of this man that he harmed throughout his life. Like they deserved better. They deserved like a safer world, and we don't have systems set up to provide that, and it's really frustrating. At the time of Reagan's murder, he had recently been released from prison where he had served a 6-year sentence for an incident where he abducted, robbed, and raped a pregnant woman in 2010.
Ooh, God.
And he only got 6 years because he pled those charges down to robbery and attempted rape, and because our system does not take sexual violence against women seriously, that's a plea that was on the table. While he was supposed to be closely monitored by the parole board after his release, including being fitted with a GPS tracking device, those overseeing his release, so that included the Adult Parole Authority, officials from his temporary housing program, people from the exit program, and his parole officer, did not closely monitor him. Now, having heard everything that you taught us, I think that's probably a combination of factors. Lack of resources, way too high of a caseload.
Understaffed,
shit just
many
not
loopholes.
Yeah, shit not working. Goldsby violated parole multiple times while on the monitoring system, including letting the battery of his GPS tracking device die more than once. Like, this was a consistent issue. He also committed 6 armed robberies in the days leading up to the murder of Reagan without being arrested. And the lack of 6. So the lack of oversight not only allowed him to acquire a gun as a convicted felon, and a convicted felon on parole, like he should not have been able to get a gun, but he got a gun, likely not through, like a store with a registration, but like if
a gun show.
Well, or, you could have gotten them in community. Like there are lots of ways to get a gun, but I'm just saying
bought a gun from my neighbor. Whatever.
Yes. So he got access to a gun. He committed 6 armed robberies. He let the GPS device die multiple times. All of these things, maybe not getting the gun, but like certainly committing all of these robberies, being in places he wasn't supposed to be, and at the bare minimum, the device running out of battery.
Dying.
All of these things trigger alerts to his like oversight committee, hypothetically.
Yeah.
They're supposed to. So on February 8th, the GPS tracker happened to be charged, fortunately. Not that it prevented anything, but it at least provided data for where he was, you know, on this day, on like that fucking fateful day. And the data from the GPS tracker shows that he spent about an hour walking in circles near Bodega before Tokes left. So it's likely that he, you know, was in the area. Maybe he saw her just in passing, like getting something at the restaurant or walking outside the restaurant. And he kind of took a liking to
her and waiting for her to leave.
Yes, that is what the data would indicate. When she did leave her job, he forced her into her own car. So he like kind of followed her to her car and then forced her into the car at gunpoint. She was in the driver's seat. He abducted her by holding her at gunpoint and had her in his custody for about 2 hours. And I mean, it's just unimaginable terror. He's having her drive him to ATMs so that she can withdraw money. So he's robbing her. She was robbed by him and raped by him at least once. And that was confirmed by a rape kit that was taken, you know, after her body was found. He admitted during his interrogation that she begged for her life and said that, quote, all I want to do is live. But he did not want to be caught. So he made the decision to end her life to prevent her from reporting him. He forced her to, so this is just so fucked up. Like he forced her to drive herself to the location where he would be murdering her. And I just can't even imagine what that would be like. I mean, it makes me
that made my lungs flip.
Yeah.
Just thinking of like you're driving your own car.
Yep.
And
yeah, where it's like normally you have so much control, but it's like you're forced. Like I can't, you know, you try to do what they say so that you hopefully buy yourself time to either get away or talk them out of it. And it's just, that wasn't the case for her.
Okay, I think about this like not infrequently. Like if I were, you know, held at gunpoint or if I were in a moment of like make a heroic decision or don't, even if it's to save myself. Dude, I don't think that quick.
I know. I'd love to.
I really don't.
I'd love to believe that it's like, okay, if I'm going to die anyway, I'm going to try to crash this fucking car. And
I know, but I don't
but
think
like
that's
you
how
cannot.
It happens a lot of times.
No, I mean fight, or freeze.
Or flight. Yeah,
and
fight,
freeze
flight,
is like
freeze.
is one of the most common ones. It's like I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna comply. I'm just gonna do. You know,
And when you,
I have no idea what I would do.
When I think about that, just this is so morbid, but I think of like every time a person in human history has been like, you know, hit in the head with an axe or shot in the head or something and they die like real quick, their last thoughts are probably like, what the fuck just happened?
Right.
And that's it. And then that's it.
It's too quick to even make any kind of move or decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something so creepy about, I don't know. That
and
has
yet,
nothing to do with this, but
I
like,
would take that.
It's the humanity, oh shit, like I don't know anything. What? I don't know. It's creepy.
It's impossible to know what you would do faced with this fucking impossible situation. Yeah. Period. It just is.
Yeah.
So he took her to, or had her drive to the Scioto Grove Metro Park in Grove City, Ohio. And he had her remove her clothes and walk into a field at the park. And then he shot her twice in the head, quote, execution style at close range. Her body was left there and discovered the following morning, February 9th, 2017. The investigation that followed was very fast. Investigators located her abandoned silver Acura in southeast Columbus. So not by the park. He had taken the vehicle to leave the park and then ditched it somewhere and either got a different car or left on foot. Key evidence included the GPS data from Goldsby's ankle monitor, which placed him at the scene of the abduction at all of the ATMs that her card had been at and at the park where she was found. Additionally, cigarette butts with Goldsby's DNA were found in and next to Tokes' car, and forensic testing from the rape kit provided DNA evidence that also pointed to Goldsby. There was also gunshot residue on the clothing that he was wearing that evening that they confiscated. So there's really no doubt that he did it. You know, there was surveillance data, both from like ATM cameras and also from his monitor. There was DNA evidence, and he all but confessed. So he was arrested on February 11th, 2017, and he initially confessed to the robbery and the kidnapping, but he denied the sexual assault and he denied the murder. He eventually fabricated a story about an accomplice who went by, quote, TJ, but it was determined that this person never existed. He later confessed to a friend as well, and the mother of his child, so like he also has a kid, that he had murdered Tokes. So in private conversations, he had confessed to people that were close to him, and those people testified at trial. So
this kind of also seems like one of those murders. It's like, how do you escalate to this point? You know, the escalation doesn't make sense, and it is worrisome.
Well, I mean, it is definitely worrisome. I think it does make sense. He had a history of armed robbery. He had a history of sexual assault against both minors and adults. He had a gun, and he had committed 6 armed robberies in that, like, you know, a couple months that he was on parole before he killed her.
And maybe we just don't have the details of like the depravity of his previous crimes to really align it all the way with like,
he robbed and raped a pregnant woman.
Strip your clothes and run away. I'm going to shoot you in the back of the head or whatever.
I think he probably intended to assault her again would be my guess, and maybe just didn't think he had time and then shot her.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it was actually as like calculated and methodical in like an MO type way as, you know, I wrote this, because I wrote it very like procedurally. It's like I couldn't.
Yeah, you might have just said like execution style, but really he just like panicked
and
shot her in the
close
head.
Range. Yeah, he just shot her at close range, and you know, I actually don't think that it's that far off of his track record, honestly. And I think, and when we look at track records like this, it's like, it's always going to end this way. It, you know, when we do not take violence against women seriously, then
it'll
women
always
die.
Escalate.
It always escalates because that violence isn't fucking taken seriously enough for like real long-term consequences and repercussions for that violence. I mean, he was able to plead down the rape and robbery of a pregnant woman to attempted rape. She was raped. There was an attempt, but it was a successful attempt.
Yeah.
And it is not justice for that woman or her baby to...
If the baby survived.
Well, I saw no indication that there was harm to the child, so I didn't even think that.
I know you didn't.
Yeah, we don't know.
I did think that. And
of course.
It might well have not been reported. But either way, the trauma is there.
The trauma is there, and it's not taken seriously. And frankly, I think it's arguable that one of the only reasons he even received 6 years for a charge like that is because he's black.
She was yeah.
He's black and she's pregnant. So like those are two special circumstances in the eyes of the law. You know,
is she white?
I don't know. I have no idea. I know that Reagan was a young white woman. Mm-hmm. I do not know the race of his previous victims, either the children or this woman.
In a perfect world, it wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't fucking matter, and also it just wouldn't fucking happen. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that too. In a perfect world, it wouldn't fucking happen.
The trial began on March 5th, 2018, presided over by Judge Mark Surratt. Jurors were given a tour of the locations that Tokes was taken to the night she was murdered. So it's like the ATMs, the park, probably her job. On March 13th, 2018, what would have been Reagan Tokes' 23rd birthday, or 22nd birthday, I think. 22nd birthday. Goldsby was convicted on all counts against him, which included aggravated murder, kidnapping, and rape. The sentencing phase presented a challenge for the prosecution, and the prosecution was led by Franklin County prosecutor Ron O'Brien, who was seeking the death penalty because that was still legal at the time in Ohio, and it might still be now. I actually don't know. But there are also those states where like the death penalty is legal, but they just don't use it. Because isn't California like that?
Yeah, they've like kind of suspended it.
Right.
Ohio is currently suspended.
Okay. So the prosecution was seeking the death penalty. The jury couldn't reach a unanimous decision on the death penalty, so that resulted in a deadlock at sentencing. 4 jurors voted for life in prison and 8 voted for death. As a result, Goldsby received 3 life sentences without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 66 years for the armed robberies that he committed in the days prior to the murder. So it was like, okay, if you can't unanimously vote on the death penalty, then we're not going to bring down the death penalty, but we will charge the most like maximum sentences possible. He will die in prison, period. It just won't be anytime soon. Right. So this was not the end of the legal battle, because shortly after Goldsby was sentenced, his new lawyers filed an appeal in a move that like didn't make that much sense for Goldsby, because at his trial, his lawyers had already fought to save his life, to like not have them bring the death penalty, and B, there was just so much fucking evidence that it's like, okay, I don't really know why you're filing an appeal, but sure, I guess we'll do it. So when his attorneys immediately tried to drop the appeal, prosecutor Ron O'Brien seized the chance to file a cross appeal, arguing that Judge Surratt had made an error in the instructions given to the jury during the penalty phase. Because again, the prosecution wanted the death penalty. I think it must be just like if you sue somebody, they automatically get the opportunity to sue you back, whether they like take it or not. I wonder if it's a similar thing where it's like if you're filing an appeal,
both sides appeal. That doesn't make sense.
I mean, I think it's like if the defense is filing an appeal, then that automatically gives the prosecution an opportunity to file some sort of appeal. But most of the time, the prosecution wouldn't be compelled to do that, because assuming there's an appeal filed, they already won. But this prosecutor was like, well, I'll file an appeal because we wanted the death penalty.
It's not an appeal. It's a response to the appeal.
I'm not sure. It was just referenced in the articles I read as a cross appeal. So I'm inferring what that might mean. I don't fucking know. Okay, Lucy, I looked it up and I was way off.
So
give it to us.
A cross appeal, it's not cross in the sense of the defense. So let's say that the court ruled the defendant guilty. Mm-hmm. It's not a cross in the sense of that defense team will then appeal, and then the prosecution will also appeal, because obviously the prosecution wouldn't want to appeal a verdict that benefited their side. So in sense, it's more of like a top down. Okay. So an appellee, the person who's appealing, can request that a higher court review a decision made by a lower court.
Okay, that makes sense then, because the prosecution was like,
horizontal.
We still want that death penalty. We're going to have a higher court take a look at this.
Yes. So if you have a cross appeal, it's like, well, wait, we wouldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for this lower court's ruling, so let's appeal that. And then we'll take it from there. We'll take it back up.
I think I was just confused because Goldsby's team also filed an appeal, but then they immediately tried to drop the appeal. But I think what happened is that Goldsby's team filed an appeal. The prosecutor was kind of like, sweet, this means we'll go back to trial and I can fight again for the death penalty. And then when Goldsby's team, says here, immediately tried to drop the appeal, then this prosecutor, Ron O'Brien, is like, oh, fuck, I'm going to lose my opportunity to go for the death penalty. I'm going to file a cross appeal to a higher court to argue that the judge fucked up in laying out the instructions on the death penalty to the jury, so the jury didn't have everything they needed to be able to deliberate properly on it.
Or probably not a higher court, but a lower court.
Or whatever was needed.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
they will be challenging previous motions from lower courts to be like, well, you are wrong here.
Right.
So we can't take anything that happened after that.
Got it. So regardless of that process, O'Brien's goal...
I'm a fucking lawyer,
Genius,
by the way.
O'Brien's goal was to secure a second chance at a death penalty sentencing. That's what he wanted. And he was confident regarding the issue of double jeopardy, noting that since the original jury was deadlocked and did not decide unanimously against the death penalty, reconsideration of the death penalty should be on the table if the appeal went forward. So the 10th District Court of Appeals ultimately ruled that Judge Surratt's instructions had been proper and had been clear. Like, he didn't fuck this up in explaining to the jury what this meant. Although the state appealed that decision, the Ohio Supreme Court accepted the case in January 2021, and the appeal was eventually withdrawn under the newly elected District Attorney Gary Tyack, allowing Goldsby's life sentence to stand. So everybody was trying different shit. None of it worked. It is what it is. He's in prison for life.
That's the justice system.
Reagan's murder received widespread media coverage locally and nationally, highlighting the systemic failures in monitoring Goldsby, and I would assume the system of electronic monitoring as a whole, and really leaned into or really focused on the fact that Goldsby was a violent and high-risk offender who was put on this technology under what had been told to, the general public, or is kind
everyone.
To everyone, was a suitable monitoring protocol. And it just wasn't. It still isn't, it sounds like. Reagan's parents, Toby Tokes and Lisa McCrary Tokes, began working with lawmakers to address these failures. The result was the Reagan-Tokes Act, a bipartisan piece of legislation that was introduced by lawmakers including Jim Hughes and Kristen Boggs in Ohio. The portion of the act concerning sentencing, so this is the portion that's like kind of polarizing. So we're going to talk about that portion first, and then I'll acknowledge the other portion that like is kind of aligned with where I fell. But the portion of the act concerning sentencing was signed into law by Governor John Kasich in December of 2018 and went into effect in March of 2019. The law primarily targets offenders convicted of first and second degree felonies, so Ohio's most serious felonies that do not carry life sentences, covering crimes like rape and aggravated robbery. So those are the kinds of crimes where, you're committing a felony, but you're probably not going to get a life sentence because you didn't kill anybody.
But they're still
violent
crimes.
Correct.
Okay.
So this new law affects the sentencing process for those specific types of crimes, which was what Goldsby had been charged with. So that's why that was like the inspiration for this legislation. So the central change instituted by the act is the requirement for judges to impose both minimum and maximum prison sentences at sentencing. The maximum term is set at 150% of the minimum term. For example, a 4-year minimum sentence would carry a 6-year maximum sentence. Okay. So they have to give both. And that in and of itself, a lot of judges were not happy with, because they're like, some of these crimes are like really fucked up and we don't want to give a maximum sentence. We want to give a minimum and then like assess later. But like, I understand setting a maximum as well.
By giving, do you just mean like putting it on the table for the jury to decide, or for the court to decide, or just to be declared publicly?
Well, not necessarily, because some sentences are not voted on by a jury. I think the only reason this person's sentence was voted on by a jury was because it was a death penalty. There was death. It was like either he's getting the death penalty or he's getting life in prison. The other trial has already happened. But in the context of these crimes, a lot of them wouldn't include murder. So they wouldn't necessarily even have a jury deciding on the sentencing. The jury decides on guilt, and then the judge brings down the sentence and says, okay, you were found guilty, here's your sentence. There isn't always a sentencing trial in cases like those.
What's the controversy in giving the minimum maximum sentence?
Well, this isn't the controversy, but all I'm saying is there were some judges who weren't happy with having to give a maximum because they wanted to give just a minimum and say, okay, you have to be in here at least this long. But the idea of setting a maximum is they'd be released by the maximum And some of these judges are like, well, we don't know if they should be released by the maximum. I don't want to.
Like maybe they were super fucked up. I don't want to be limited to 25 years or whatever.
Which,
got it.
Understandable in some situations and also sketchy given the, systemic issues of our justice system. So it's like, it's a double-edged fucking knife.
Yeah.
Under the Reagan-Tokes Act, an offender is presumed to be released at the end of the minimum term. However, the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction can hold an administrative hearing to extend the prison term up to the maximum if they find the inmate engaged in improper conduct, or that they find the inmate is a continued threat to society or was classified at a higher security level. So basically, under this law, you get your minimum and your maximum. So your 4-year or your 6-year. You go in, you get to your 4-year mark. If you've done well and there haven't been issues while you were in prison, you're out at the 4 years. If there were issues or, the Department of Corrections determined there were issues, then your sentence is extended. So if they break certain rules, prison administrators can extend the sentence to include some or all of the maximum term. So when we're talking about controversial, the key words there are prison administrators. Because typically in a lot of cases where you're thinking of changing a sentence while the person is already serving that sentence, there's a whole lot of third-party trials and weigh-ins and oversight on that decision. But under this law, this new law, it was like, all right, they get their minimum and their maximum. If they fuck up before their minimum, the prison administrators can decide, nope, you can't get out. You have to stay until the maximum. Which under certain situations, sure, if you attack somebody in prison, if you commit, a violent crime in prison, I can understand.
Yeah, but just thinking of the ways that freedom can be fucking snatched from you for the most arbitrary reasons.
It's that slippery slope that we were talking about with this GPS technology in general. Yeah. It's like, if they can do this to people inside of prison, it is a testing ground for ways that the state can control, quote unquote, free citizens. So we have to care about this kind of shit and not care because they're criminals.
And I also felt like while I was doing my research, the stuff about they have all of these pings on their ankle monitor and nobody's picking up, nobody's following through. On the other end of that spectrum, someone's going this far out of the way, they're painting this far out of the lines, and they're getting their ass sent to prison or worse for the rest of their lives.
100%. It's too much power in one place.
Back and forth. It's too much power, and it's so little oversight and so little control. It didn't take that Louisiana bill that I said. It was a local news outlet that did the research and was like, hey, this is really fucked up, you guys.
This is bad. Yeah. And that's the kind of journalism we fucking need to be having. We need that. We need that so bad. So the law has faced significant legal challenges from the start. Critics argued that giving the ODRC, the Department of Corrections in Ohio, administrators the power to extend sentences without judicial input violated the constitutional doctrine of separation of powers and deprived offenders of adequate due process.
Without judicial input? So extrajudicial?
That's what they're saying. They're saying that if corrections administrators can just go, no, you fucked up, you're getting the full sentence now, then that bypasses the judicial input of, no, they have to go before a judge and we have to lay out all the evidence of why you want to extend their sentence. And that's their
allowed for.
This is the new law.
But that was allowed until the Tokes Act?
No, that's
recently?
allowed under the Tokes Act.
Oh, Jesus.
The Tokes Act itself gives the judge brings down the minimum and the maximum. If they fuck up and then they hit the minimum, then the prison administrators can say, oh, well, sorry, you have to stay. They don't go before a judge. They don't bring their record to a court, any of that. They don't have...
So fucked.
Yeah,
backwards.
That's why this is controversial and why there are critics of this law that was passed
I thought we were getting better, but we're not.
No.
Going the other way.
I think that's a polarizing opinion. You know what I mean? I don't think that this is a good idea personally. But okay, we'll keep going. So This is a quote from the Marshall Project about this law. Quote, Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction officials say accountability is baked into the disciplinary process. Hearing officer decisions can be appealed to wardens. Imagine appealing a decision that came down from the prison to the prison warden. What do you think they're going to say? Rules Infraction Board decisions can be appealed to ODRC attorneys, so attorneys for the Corrections Department. Critics argue that the process
privately owned.
Correct. Critics argue that the process lacks external oversight, especially from sentencing judges who are excluded from providing any input. Many incarcerated people say appeals are almost always denied.
Of course they are.
Several appellate courts issued conflicting rulings on the law's constitutionality. The debate was eventually settled when the Ohio Supreme Court upheld the constitutionality of the Reagan-Tokes Act in a 5-2 decision in July of 2023. So this is still on the books in Ohio. This is a really, and I want to make this clear. This is a tough situation because I agree that Goolsby and violent offenders with a similar track record clearly have ways of slipping through the cracks and that they're not necessarily safe after 6 years to be back in society. And especially when we know that the monitoring system is not efficient, especially when we know how our justice system works. Not only is the system itself inherently racist, it often gets things wrong. So yes, while it's fucked up that Goolsby got out, there are people who are incarcerated who didn't do anything nearly as violent as what he did that might not get the opportunity to get out because of some bullshit from a warden or bullshit from a corrections officer that was they were acting out. They have to stay. I'm filing a report. It has so much, it's just too much power in one place. And I think that this is the kind of reactionary legislation that can cause more harm than good because we're not really thinking of or addressing all of the systemic issues. And instead we're handing more power for punishment to the state and to privatize sectors of the state, the prison system, to apply to whomever they determine fit the criteria, which is most often at the expense of Black and brown people. They are overwhelmingly targeted. So that just begs the question for me.
And we now have this whole different arm of it for immigrants.
Right, exactly. So you really have to slow down and think is this the way to go? Or would, fighting for more oversight and resources for parole would have been a more equitable solution? I don't know. And like I said, obviously this guy being released was an issue. And then once he was released, he was not closely monitored despite his ongoing record. So if the state is going to grant parole to felony offenders with violent records, then there need to be more diligent safeguards in place for monitoring their progress after release and making sure that they can reacclimate themselves with society safely for everyone around them as well as themselves. He got away with way too fucking much while he was wearing that ankle bracelet. And now we know exactly why after you went over all of those details. So it's easy for the solution to be, well, then just don't let them out. But when we pass sweeping laws to grant that power to...
And we already have the highest prison population in the world.
In the world.
That's so crazy.
When we pass that kind of power without addressing the failures that allowed this specific case to happen and other cases like it, and now the prison and the state basically have the power to choose who stays in prison longer without any oversight and review of the prison's findings and decisions. I just I can't get behind that. And at the same time, I don't begrudge the victim's family for pushing for legislation that would keep people like the man who killed their child. I get it. I get why they wouldn't want somebody like that to be out of prison. I really do understand from an emotional place, but I don't have the emotional attachment to this specific case. This isn't my child. So I can at least hold their truth and their feelings as valid and see the concerns that critics share around the power of this bill. And I also can't help but wonder if the offender being a Black man and the victim being a young white woman played a role in the severity of this sentencing reform bill. Because it just feels like something that can be so easily manipulated to target marginalized people that are already in the prison system. And that's always part of something.
And for that emotion to be exploited and
exactly
taken over for different
family's
for different purposes.
The family's not trying to pass like exploitative or racist legislation. The family is trying to get justice for their child. And then the people who write this legislation know how to play that game, know how to play the dog whistle game. And this family may have had no clue what the ramifications of a bill like this could be. And they've done it in their child's name, and it could potentially cause harm to other people. Like, that's fucking devastating. And that's the responsibility of the people who wrote the bill and the legislators that were working with this family to not exploit them in that way. I don't know how they feel about it. So, like, I'm not speaking for them. I'm speaking, this is my opinion. This is what I think as a complete outsider looking in. And like we said earlier, like, we're not in this situation, so we can't even imagine how we would feel or what we would be compelled to say or do. It's just important that we like examine these things, because even something that on its surface seems like a great thing, when it's in the hands of people that are the oppressor and do not have the citizens' best interests at heart, you have to be so critical and you have to be so fucking careful, because shit can happen.
And I think it also is helpful to be aware of where the emotions get set.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because that they can be weaponized and exploited for means that may be antithetical to the wishes of the victim and their family. So let's be aware of weaponization of emotion.
100%. I'm not blaming this family.
It's a very powerful propaganda. I'm extrapolating beyond the specific case.
Right.
There's a lot of emotion in the air right now because of like perceived personal issues. And I think that it helps me analyze things very critically. And as far as this family, devastating loss all around for everyone involved. That said, it's so fucking easy to harness the emotions of others, and for people who have something to gain to wrap it and package it and shape it in a way that will benefit them and only them, and make you think that it's for the greater good, and it's fucking not.
It's
necessarily.
not. The ones who stand to benefit the most in a lot with this power is the private prison. And like, that's not justice. That's not justice. So that's like the polarizing part of the legislation. That's not all that was in the legislation. They also had other components of the Tokes Act that focus on reducing parole officer caseloads. Absolutely, that should be done. Improving the GPS monitoring of felons under post-release control. All of this is under House Bill 166, which did pass in the Ohio House in February of, I think, 2023. So, like, that there is some acknowledgement that that's a huge part of the problem. And I put emphasis on the other part because it was the polarizing part. This is a good piece of legislation. Like, we should be lightening these case loads. We should be doing better with this technology to protect the public. But, you know, Reagan's legacy is going to be remembered in so many different ways. And, the Tokes Act is like one part of it. And I really want to believe that maybe that bill could be changed and still held in her honor to be more equitable and also protect the public and protect, other young women who are oftentimes targeted about shit like this. But she is also honored through the Reagan Delaney Tokes Memorial Foundation, which her family created, and that provides scholarships because she was like such an avid learner and was so excited about being in college. So it's just like amazing to pay it forward and provide scholarships for other people that are seeking higher education. They also fund self-defense classes. They promote legislative change. So yeah, the Ohio State University also awarded Tokes a posthumous degree in psychology in May of 2017. She was so close to graduating. So she still got her diploma.
Good. She fucking earned it. My God.
She absolutely did. And still today at the Scioto or Scioto, it's Scioto, I think it's Scioto Grove Metro Park, which is the location where Reagan was murdered. a beautiful tranquility garden was planted, and it's called Reagan's Garden, and it was dedicated in her memory in June of 2019. And it includes 5 buckeye trees celebrating her connection to Ohio State, and a Celtic symbol for love. And the park provides a space of peace for her parents and her family and friends, who noted that the creation of the garden really helped ease the like crushing sensation of pain and anger and loss that they felt when they were visiting the location where their daughter's life was ended. And now they grew this beautiful garden so they can go there and feel close to her and have it be like a peaceful way to honor her and not just be surrounded by the devastation of, you know, what she must have seen that night. It's like now we see this beautiful thing instead. So I thought that was really beautiful and really special. But like this case was a lot. It asks a lot of big questions. It pushes us to think really critically, not just about the legal system, but also about, you know, how people who are harmed can perpetuate harm down the road if there isn't the right intervention and there isn't the right support. It's just like, it's tough. This shit's tough. It would be so easy to just say, you know, fuck this guy. He's a monster piece of shit. He deserves to rot in prison. And like, sure, I do not begrudge anybody that opinion. And, you know, there's a reason why he became the man that he became. And I want to believe that there are ways that we can prevent that, because like otherwise everything is just too scary and devastating and tragic.
I think it's always worth exploring, you know, the complexities of not only like how a person came to be this way, even if they did turn out to be a horrible piece of shit monster, you know, murderer. That can be the conclusion that you come to, but it is worth a little bit of diligence to
how
figure
did we
out how
get
they
here,
got there, learn
and how
they
can we
got
keep
there.
it from happening again.
In the same respect, examining these systems that we are obligated to follow every day, that we sort of take for granted, like, oh yeah, you just play by the rules, follow the law, blah, blah, blah. And for most people, you might not ever have an experience with, for example, an ankle monitor or,
God willing,
you know, the criminal justice system, et cetera. That doesn't mean it's not worth examining, understanding, and identifying ways in which we can improve on that, because clearly we're not.
What a mess. What a mess.
Fucking perfect. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much to our fan picker. Good Lord, you really got a doozy of an episode this time, Marlena. My galley. You're welcome.
My galley. Yeah.
And thank you all of you listeners, all of you subscribers. We love you. We appreciate you. And
join us on Uncorked.
Please.
To hear this and all of our other episodes ad-free and ad-free videos. What are you waiting for? Don't you want to see our beautiful faces?
Come check out these mugs. Faces for radio. So we put them on YouTube.
Yep. Well, behind a paywall.
Well, they're free with ads on YouTube, but if you want the ad-free version on YouTube, you gotta pay.
If you want our ad-free faces, you gotta pay for it.
Exactly.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Wine and Crime. Our cover art is by Danielle Sylvan. Music by Phil Young and Corey Wendell. Editing by Jonathan Camp. Our production manager is Andrea Gardner. For photos, sources, and other resources, head to wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can follow us on all the socials at Wine and Crime Pod. If you'd like to show your support and get access to all sorts of wine-fueled bonus content, check out our premium channel at wineandcrimepodcast.com/uncorked. Cheers!